The building is situated on the outskirts of the city of Forli, within an industrial zone that the town planning authorities have located on the edge of the ancient Roman centuriation. The site is located in close proximity to the motorway exit, and just a few kilometers from the old town center, a highly strategic point, but one which is devoid of architectural language. The landscape is dominated only by a monotonous parade of prefabricated warehouses. From the outset, therefore, a conscious decision was made to avoid focusing too heavily on structural form per se in the initial designs, but rather to let the building reveal itself by adapting its lines to the functional and logistical needs imposed. The form that can be appreciated today is the result of a creative process that paradoxically absorbs the rationality and pragmatism of the cooperative, making the headquarters itself the primary representation of the company's scientific rigor. The Sidera building extends horizontally for a length of 100 meters and has a height of 33 meters, starting from a soil plinth that is approximately 3 meters high. The external surface features only 3 materials: aluminium, 6 kilometers of vertical fins, black pigmented concrete and glass, about 5,000 square meters of glazing on the facade. The natural aluminium used for the cladding sheets plays the leading role as it elegantly reflects the natural light, taking on different nuances of tone and color at different times of the day and depending on the weather conditions. This, combined with the rapid rhythm created by the placement of the sunshade fins, creates a pleasant optical illusion as one moves around the Sidera building, whereby the building appears as either an opaque or transparent block, depending on the position from which it is viewed. The concept of the envelope of the building does not refer only to the exterior facades, but also includes the roof, which was immediately interpreted as a kind of fifth elevation, since we are aware of the fact that with the rise of contemporary navigation tools, such as Google Earth, we are now all accustomed to looking at and perceiving spaces from above. This awareness translates into the need to also include defining architectural features for this viewpoint. The vernacular motif of the pitched roof was selected for this purpose, which in itself is unprecedented in such an industrial context. 6 sloping pitches are scattered across the space, exploiting the 3 large skylights as connection points in the quest to create a dialogue with the skyline of the nearby Apennines. The study and design of the interior space was approached as an essential component in and of itself, and thus not viewed as a parallel project, but something integral and necessary for the development of the building as a whole. Indeed, the intention was clear from the very first steps, not to entrust the representativeness of the project to the exterior envelope of the building alone, but to ensure it was the skin of a more complex organism, expressed in a continuous progression of stimuli, and we were fortified by the conviction that the intelligence and creativity of those who work and produce are nourished in their endeavors by the curiosity and complexity of the building rather than the banality of a sterile and shapeless space. The precepts of neuroarchitecture have guided most of the design choices, which focused on finding the ideal working space. Thus, external factors, such as light, air, sounds, and visuals, enter the building in the form of calibrated and controlled architectural components and not merely as necessary occurrences. The glass skin covering the Sidera building controls the inflow of natural light that floods every workspace. The light fixtures follow the 24-hour circadian rhythm. The technology employed for ventilation control and the total absence of operable windows ensure the indoor air is clean and healthy despite being in one of the most polluted areas in Europe. From every interior space and from any level, it is possible to look out on the view of greenery outside. All these factors, combined with the obsessive control of sound insulation, guarantee working conditions that foster high levels of psychological well-being, which inevitably translates into a higher quality of work from employees. No color has been added beyond the natural pigmentation of the materials, so much so that the photograph of the building appears desaturated, an inverted form of highlighting that emphasizes the building's rank as the company's headquarters. Wood, aluminium, and concrete proudly express their natural state, and this ethos also applies to the many items of bespoke furniture made from corian. The sobriety of the building in this sense reflects the seriousness and pragmatism of the company. The Sidera building is a living, creative organism that denies the rigid logic of orthogonality and avoids all static constraints or obligations to monumental and banal symmetry. The entrance, the circulation spaces, the assembly hall, and the top floor are all arranged in an interplay of alternating spatial compressions between the walls and ceilings and the sloping and faceted surfaces. In a context that is devoid of identity and architectural value, the Sidera building has been conceived to be a new element to add to its surroundings, like a sort of gift, a form of reparation to an area lacking in quality, but one which can evidently become a better area, for the benefit of anyone who comes to make use of it, in particular, the employees of the cooperative. Even the decision to surround the headquarters with 300 trees and 22,000 plants is a response to the desire to neutralize the context in which it is built. In the design of the headquarters, there is no formalism nor individualism, but at its core, there is a strong sense of reality, a strong intention to interpret needs, to understand and translate into the building the transformations that mankind inevitably goes through, without ever losing sight of the centrality of relationships and of what being a human and an individual means in the present day, which keeps us increasingly distant from each other and from the environment that surrounds us.